Welcome, everybody. This is Abacus Fish, and we are playing Old School Essentials via Roll20. I am joined by 6 players for this season finale. We have Seth.
Hey, hey.
We have Hallie.
Hello.
We have Josh.
Hey, hey. Hello.
We have Kellen.
Yo.
We have Sophie.
Hello.
And the creator of Antagonist RPG, James Somerton.
Ahoy.
So what this is, Old School Essentials, is old school D&D, but kind of revamped. Also, I'm using Hexcrawl. Hexcrawl is a format of old school D&D, basically an open-ended form. I have all these maps, I have all these NPCs, I have all these treasures, I have all sorts of goodies and stuff. But the one thing I don't have is control over the player's direction. It is up to the player characters to decide where they go in my setting. And with that said, let's meet some of these player characters. Seth, why don't you tell us about Theron Smith?
Theron Smith is very much your average dwarf. He's adolescent in age, and he has a big red beard and hair. He is the cousin of the late Goldie Smith, if anyone remembers her. And he's frequently seen running around trying to. He's usually on the front lines, it doesn't always work out well for him, but he's very ambitious and likes to get into a fight. That's Theron.
All right, and Hallie, why don't you tell us about Ficus?
All right. Ficus is he's a small, wiry, muscular halfling. He's got green eyes and a round face. His skin is tan and ruddy, and he always has kind of a wild look in his eyes. He has curly brown hair and beard with some gray in there, and a big hairy mole on his forehead. He also has a pet squirrel. He's just a little guy.
All right. And Josh, why don't you tell us about Mayred Farron?
Mayred Farron is a rather young elf of around 280 years old. He has dark purple hair and violet eyes, rather small and slender for a dwarf, but larger than an average human. Generally keeps to himself in the world of plants and animals, but as he is adventured with these wonderful other beings, the West March, he has come to depend on being around people more and more. Dresses pretty casually, usually robes and light gear, and he just is looking forward to continuing these adventures.
All right, and Kellen, why don't you tell us about Svardfisk Farron?
Svardfisk is an elf that knew life fishing on the sea before coming to the mainland. He arrived with a great deal of mistrust in this unfamiliar environment, but through adventuring with his party, that has softened, and he's accepting more and more his new life, his new home, and his new family. He has average height with a lithe build and salt-swept skin reflecting his time spent out at sea. He has teal hair and cyan eyes, leather armor, and covered with fish netting that's adorned with seashells. And he fights with a bow.
All right, and Sophie, why don't you tell us about Kailani Farron?
Ilani Farron is a friendly elf with periwinkle hair and purplish eyes. She's not super huge, but she is an elf, so she is kind of tall. Um, Usually wearing some kind of headband, but she recently got a new fancy headscarf, so she's wearing that today. And it's a little rough out here trying to make friends as an elf, but she loves the people in the West March, and she's met some fine people in the city. So, yeah.
All right, and James, why don't you tell us about Guilford the Grand?
Wilford is a tall, lanky man that has kind of stringy black hair that hangs around his face pretty loosely. He has deeply tanned skin and kind of the rugged appearance of a traveler, but his hands are surprisingly uncalloused. He is renowned for his stories and has made boasts and claims abounding. A few of them have been verified as true, but the more skeptical wonder about some of the rest of his stories.
All right. And now that we know all the characters, let's let us start the game. It is Chitty, the 13th of Florial, 7932, year of Cosgrove. What is Fairborn? They are dwarves, elves, halflings, and humans. Dwarves and elves were the first of the Fairborn. It is said the dwarves emerged from the Underdark one day, and the dragons adopted them like pets until the dwarves overthrew their draconic overlords. Tales of the elves' origin mention being created by the dragons in their own image. Some elves fully embrace this ideology. The elves that refer to themselves with the elvish term child of dragon is either considered arrogant or appropriate among their elven siblings. Halflings and humans emerged much later. While the beginnings of halflings is unknown to even other halflings, what is known is that the first halflings were discovered in small communities near oases in desert climates all over the world of Corum. Humans, as it is told, were the last of Erda's creation, when Erda had no mana left to bestow. While lacking in the longevity and natural ability of the other Fairborn, humans were free from the marks of destiny associated with being bonded to by mana. With no mana in their blood, humans were unparalleled in their innovativeness and ambition, for good or for ill. Svardfisk. You saw the large division of cavalry show up to the refugee camp and announce themselves as the representatives of the Crown of Vassith. Much of your fellow refugees left with them, including Stickbeard Smith, the one directly summoned. The next day was just another day of fishing, except for one incident near dusk. You patrolled along the southwestern ridge and noticed a group of several dwarves perched 1,000 feet or so from you. They were just staring at the refugee camp with axes and shields readied. Days later, Stickbeard Smith comes back with blue-robed humans. They are slowly repairing the old tower and creating a new building using magic. Through gesture and chant, bricks appear, spectral at first, but over time become more solid. Stickbeard Smith informs you that he has been knighted and that the refugee camp is now a vassal state of the Crown of Vassith. You decide, for whatever reason, up to you, Svardfisk, that a visit to the new city might prove interesting. And with that, now that I got all of you in the city, the party wakes up from the Soldier Salvation building pictured right there, inside the city of Vassith. The church bells ring loudly, the people's chatter drones into buzzing, the horses' hooves clump sharply on the cobblestone road. There's a smell of fresh-baked bread as well as incense from the residents somewhere nearby. Walking outside, you are disoriented by the myriad of people whooshing through the thin but crowded streets. Tall row houses block out the sun, covering you in artificial twilight. The sky is overcast with gray, swirling clouds, and powerful gusts rush through the narrow alleys. Colorful kites can be seen flying around in the park area. And that's where I leave you guys.
Good morning. I think Merritt would like to go find himself a bite to eat and hopefully find some of his grand compatriots along the way.
Well, like, you're all sharing 2 beds. Like, all of you are sleeping in 2 beds. So,
Yeah, he kind of gets up early.
Like 6 of us in 2 beds, or
maybe 5 of you, because Svardfisk just walked in. Svartfisk rode back with the Rangers Guild back into town. And the Rangers Guild were like, yeah, they're sleeping in there. So, Svartfisk, you're probably in the lobby, the Grand Hall area. Whereas the rest of you, yeah, the 5 of you are sharing 2 beds, yes.
Oh, good thing we have a halfling. Guilford will be up and about. He's a little bit more energetic in the city, and he sleeps less here. So you said you were getting food, right?
Oh yes, off to find a bite.
So who will I meet in the lobby? I guess while I'm waiting.
It sounds like it's gonna be me and Guilford.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sounds like we're on our way out.
Ficus has got to get up because he's got to go like greet all the squirrels in the city park every morning.
Woohoo!
Therum needs his cup of coffee. He will join the party.
Yeah, I have some bear claws to clean up, so I'll be munching on those.
You still have leftovers?
Yeah, I have 6 left. We bought a
Oh.
dozen.
Oh,
So if
that could
anybody
be a good
wants
walking
some.
snack to find fresh breakfast. Might I take one of those from you?
Yeah, Guilford will
Absolutely.
definitely take you up on that.
Oh, and
Ew,
the squirrels will probably enjoy this too. So
Yes.
take one for the squirrels,
Yes,
I guess.
thank you. So thoughtful.
Taking 2 bites of the rare Claude, Merrin heads out to the lobby.
Hail, Merid. It's good to see a familiar face.
Dear
How
cousin!
how has the stay been? Have they been kind?
More than we could expect. And some interesting events to boot.
Yes, I understand that we are part of a larger conglomerate now. God, will the surprises ever end with you all?
We have definitely entered some unknown realms.
Wait, how how in control of this situation are we right now? How much of this is us just flying by the seat of my pants? By the way, we're speaking in Elven. Um,
What?
be real with me. What's your measure of the situation right now?
I would say we have every intention of expanding and exploring our connection with the kingdom as it is now. But we definitely still have plenty to explore around our own home that we've created for ourselves.
So we have a mutual interest at this time.
Oh yeah. They've been very provisional in space for us to rest and eat and provide for new adventures, if you will.
Well, if they have your trust, then they have mine. And I think you just said something about eating.
Yes. We're just snacking on some leftovers here. Have the other half of mine. We're off to find a more full meal though.
I will join you. I haven't had anything to eat since I've gotten into the city, but I must tell you, my head is still spinning. Do you know your way around?
I'm still learning myself, but I have a bakery in mind for sure.
All right. Well, let's go. I can't think of the last time I've been to a bakery. Let's go.
If anyone else wants to come along, or we can venture.
Is the park on the way or nearby?
So the
I
bakery,
believe we passed the park to get to the bakery.
the park is in the church ward. The bakery is in Merchant's Gate. The Soldier's Salvation is also in Merchant's Gate. So like it's not
Okay.
out of the way of the park to go because you're
We can
in
hit
the
the
area.
bakery first.
If we
Yeah.
walk through the neighborhood, we bypass the park to get to the bakery versus going straight to the bakery. We can hit both.
Well, no. What I'm saying is the park is in a completely different area of the city. It's in the church ward. You guys are in Merchants Gate.
Oh yeah.
Here,
Oh,
let
so is
me
this
let me bring up the map. Let me bring
Yeah, I
up
was
the
gonna
map.
say do that.
that? Thank you. Yeah, that would be helpful.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, the park is there. Merchants Gate. Oh yeah, so it would be a jaunt down the street and then kind of so from this region to this region and then back into here. And that's not bad. Like we can do that.
Go to the bakery first.
And then you want to hit the park? We can do that.
Yeah. Let's do it. The squirrels can wait a few moments.
Well, you can get more provisions for the squirrels if we go to the bakery first.
You're so right. You're so right.
okay, so you guys head.
Harvest, you're gonna love the lady who runs this place.
Oh,
Oh yes. She has even a tale or song of our family.
oh my God! Let's go.
And you end up in the center of Merchants Gate, the market square, effectively. And there are other shops that are nearby, like the tailoring shop is just around the corner by the hunting shop. Yeah, that kind of thing. But yeah, you guys are basically in the middle of all these shops. The bakery's in the upper right, and yeah, it's early morning, so again, just like last time, it's busy. Whatever you guys want from the bakery, just 6 copper to 2 silver per pastry piece, because these pastries are rather extravagant.
Oh yeah.
So I'll just say that from the get go. So if you want to get pastries or whatever, yeah, it's basically minimum 6 copper a piece, but it can go as expensive as 2 silver a piece if you really wanted something luxurious.
What about like something like lox on a bagel?
That's
That's
a 2
not.
silver.
That's that. Lox on a bagel. Isn't that? I mean, isn't that a little lowbrow for a
Well, I
bakery
guess
like
we'd
this?
have to be back in Barry to get the locks part. There's only one fishmonger.
Yeah, and no, this is more of just like sweet, like absolute, pastries, decadence. Like,
Think your bear claws and your cheesy breads. Along
Oh, in
with
that case, I will take a slice of opera cake.
okay, I'm sure they have that.
that's a 2 silver for sure.
I'll get some coffee cake for my coffee.
I'd say their coffee cake is a silver a piece.
About like
Mm.
a little fresh fruit tart.
That I would say is like about 6 copper.
All right.
After
What's
the
this seashell shaped pastry?
What was that?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, those like really crispy Italian ones. That looks like a seashell. I totally know what that is.
A concha?
No, sfogliatelle.
Oh, right.
Oh, should we get a baguette for the road?
yes.
I do have a quiver for this baguette.
grab.
Does this bakery would she be willing to does the baker would she be willing to sell me like some old stale bread or crumbs or you know
Oh, don't even
random
worry.
random nut dust for the squirrels?
Yeah, make sure they know it's for a squirrel. That way, they'll probably be more inclined to just give it to you.
Yeah.
Well, Madam Is a very nice lady. I'm sure she's got all sorts of things that we could give to the squirrels.
Well, all right. I mean, I guess are we loaded up on bread and pastries?
Yes. Madam Starshine, could you perhaps elaborate a bit more on the Farron family for my dear cousin here?
Oh, well, as soon as he walked in, she was rather busy, but then sees you three and goes, "Oh, so great to have so many of you here. Oh, it's, excuse me." And she kind of like, shoves the staff and customers aside. And even like walks over the table to get over to you guys and gives each one of you a hug. Um, Place is still crowded. Business is still trying to occur. Uh,
Oh, wow.
yes, she's. So let me explain who Madame Alara Starshine is. She is a very tall, slender, gracefully figured elf. Silver hair, silver eyes, wears like what seems to be like shimmering silver gown with a long vest. And she kind of moves with this weird dancing like gait. And yes, she gives you each of the elves a hug and kisses each of you. And does that fake mwah, mwah on the cheek.
I say greetings, my lady. To what do I owe such a warm greeting?
Oh, any Farron is a friend of mine, a friend of Starshine. And she does a little twirl.
Does that name mean anything to me offhand?
No?
So, myself and Sophie met her, and she recited a poem or a short song for us that regards our family and this place. Farron, Farron, always wandering, never to find a home, ancient as pale ones. And that it has intrigued me to this day, and I love to come see Madame Starshine just for that. She has knowledge of our family to some respect, which is unheard of if we were to just travel anywhere.
Yes, and that poem is very hauntingly beautiful.
Oh,
I
well,
thought you should meet her cousin.
I didn't come up with it. It's just, I can feel the vibrations and it just tells me, guides my hand. And she covers her eyes and puts out her hand like, oh, where am I going now?
Thank you, madam.
What does she think of all this this scary necromancy business in the land?
How do you broach that subject in a bakery full of people? Just curious.
In Elven, maybe.
What about those skeletons, hey?
Yeah, so there is kind of a hush. And Madame Alara Starshine goes, "Oh, you speak of the ones that grow from the twisted trees." And like everybody starts getting kind of uneasy. You know, they. No, then she kind of leans in close to you, Ficus,
Uh-huh.
and goes, "They all think it's him who's behind it." And she lifts her hands and like puts her hands to her head like antlers. And it starts really freaking everybody else out. And actually a few customers just walk out. Like they drop whatever they were like going to purchase and they just walk out.
Oh.
Hmm.
Well, maybe we can, talk about this when you've closed up shop for the day. I guess the customers here don't like skeleton talk.
But we're all skeletons on the inside. La 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 la. And she like skips back to the counter. Um, a few customers are a little bit disturbed, and the staff like are annoyed, but like they get this idea that that's just um, that's just Madame Alara Starshine.
I turn to my fellow Farrens in an elven. I say, "She's quite a character."
Responding in kind. She definitely is.
I think,
Speaking of the skeletons, uh, you guys want to have a little private or powwow about that?
yeah, I think it might be time to head to the park after all of that.
Yeah. Off to the park we go.
So yeah, when you guys were first kind of walking through towards the park, to the bakery, you did notice that there were a few kites. Now there are a lot more kites, and it's very windy. Speaking of which, as you walk through the narrow alleys, uh, Sophie, why don't you give me a quick dex check?
All right. No.
So the headscarf that you have catches the wind and it flies off. Everybody else can make a deck save as you all fumble to try and uh, catch
Yeah.
Kailani's headscarf.
Got it.
Okay. And yeah, Ficus just kind of leaps into the air like 3 times his height. Well,
I
no.
think actually it was Tomas, my squirrel.
Oh, okay.
I think he got it.
You kind of like.
What a little king. We love Tomas.
He doesn't want to give it back to you though. He's like chittering and rubbing his little face on it.
He can wear it. That's okay.
Oh,
We can
Tomas
always go
is
back and get you another. There were several you were interested in, if I remember it, when we went there. That was the one that spoke most, though.
Yeah, if we go back to pick your clothes up, I would grab another one, you know? And Tomas can be fashionable too now.
Exactly. This is
Yeah.
great.
Maybe it's a little big for Tomas, so maybe we'll get him a tiny one and then you and him can match.
Hey,
Oh, we
hey.
could just cut off a little portion of it. He could wear that.
Yes.
And you could wear it if you want to match him.
God. Fashion.
Tis the way.
So the headscarf has been saved. Can we make it to the park?
Yes, we're in the park.
Ficus would like sit down in a little secluded area of trees if he could find one and get out some crumbs and various goodies for squirrels and like almost assume like a meditation pose.
Okay, yeah. Give me a wisdom check.
Success. 13.
You through careful careful positioning and proper bait techniques, you are able to attract. Let me roll a number of squirrels here. 8 squirrels.
Nice.
While that's going on, so there are a bunch of people flying kites here in the park. One of them, you guys do recognize. Some of you who played last session yesterday recognize yesterday. She's wearing a blue robe. She's a mousy white girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, and she is flying a kite. She's the one who bumped into you guys or bumped into Seeker Tacitus when you were being summoned by Idamir.
Hmm.
But you heard her arguing with Idamir before she left the office. But she's here now. She's flying a kite.
Oh. Merritt goes ahead and walks right up to ask about her kite, actually. If she made it herself, or if there's a maker in town for such a fine kite.
Oh, yeah. I just have the tailor is really good at making the kites. This one's a snake, and what it is, it's like a green oblong with like a long, swoopy tail, green colored, with like a red ribbon kind of flying out the top of it, and it's got 2 eyes.
Does she recognize me from our previous encounter?
She doesn't look at you immediately, but then she turns and then she's like, "Oh, you're the heroes of the West March."
Well, heroes might maybe be a bit more than we deserve, but yes.
Yeah, I snicker at that remark myself.
Out loud.
Oh, just kind of under my breath. If you're looking at me, I mean, I'm not being Brad or nothing.
Perhaps you would be willing to help me understand phenomena around here.
Well, around here, it seems everything is fairly controlled around here.
Oh, no, I don't mean like here in the city. No. If you've been out in the countryside, you've seen them, right? Those glowing blue orbs.
We've seen one, right?
Sounds vaguely familiar.
You've seen a couple of blue orbs. Now, the only person in the party who's ever actually stepped to one is Therum Smith.
Yes, it's a chaos orb. Be very careful about getting near it.
Well, is it really chaos, though? Perhaps it's just magic beyond our understanding. You see, with the proper measurements, one could learn to control it, perhaps.
I saw it disappear a snail, and then the same snail reappeared 1,000 times larger and spewed toxic bile at us. It's nothing to be trifled with.
True, yes. But the power source, if you can imagine, you could revolutionize all of society. You have the reputation of doing the impossible. You defeated Nurden when the River Cobs couldn't, when the Kingsguard couldn't, when the Rangers Guild couldn't. Somehow you were able to. House Dugny couldn't, and yet, despite all the houses, you were able to still liberate Nurden from the undead. Don't you think that you could possibly do the same?
Maybe, but that knowledge is not known to us, nor is it known to elder elven wizards.
Well, and I got a question. What do you know of such things that you are having such thoughts?
Those tears of mana are pure mana. Yeah, mana in such extremes that we've never witnessed before. I've noticed that just by approaching it, the magic that I can channel through obvious instruction and calculation. I'm sure, and she looks at you, Svartvisk. It's like I'm sure something that would come to your kind so naturally. But through rigorous training next to some of these manatires, I have been able to boost my potential by just a mere 20, 30%. But if I could figure out how these work, and if we could somehow, gather its energy, well, we could see a whole new level of magic. Perhaps the humans could be so lucky to be imbued with the same mana in their blood as you. And she, gestures at the three elves.
I want to whisper in Elvish, this is such a liability.
Yeah, I turn to my fellow elves and to an elven and say, she's already experimenting with this. She's already encountered it. This is wildly dangerous.
Merritt responds, dangerous, yes, but there is potential.
I say, I just blurt out in the common tongue so everybody can understand me. You'd have more luck getting a kraken to build you a dam.
She's totally startled by that and almost loses her kite. And other people kind of look around, and you know what they see? Everybody roll a wisdom check.
Hmm.
Okay, well, it looks like Svartvisk and Kailani, at least, you look around as everybody starts looking at you with dismay, and Mayred and Svartvisk, you catch on to the fact that, oh, we're a bunch of elves, and we're, like, seemingly admonishing a human in the middle of the park while she's flying a kite.
Oh shit, this is my first time in the city. I'm so sorry.
But yeah, like basically a bunch of angry human eyes are staring at you.
I quickly follow that up with, but that is neither here nor there. I think what I mean to say is that my compatriots and I will need a moment to discuss this. Right, guys? Right? I kind of start elbowing.
We mean no animosity whatsoever. Like that's not the intention.
So there are some kind of grumblings around the park. You know, it's like a bunch of limb walkers coming in here and bullying that girl.
Bullying.
Somebody ought to do something about that.
Ficus notices that there's a little bit of a hubbub, and he leaves his squirrel buddies to come join. What's going on over here?
Oh, we were just about to just take a walk over here, and I kind of gesture away from the situation, try to kind of lead the group away from this encounter.
Why must
No, because yeah, no, this is one of those things where it's like I say in Elven where we have our worst chances are with trying to explain ourselves to humans. We should go.
we are just so it seems misconstrued all in Elven. Uh, as to our intentions, uh, when it comes to the others. Uh, but I can't help but want to participate and help them overcome this animosity towards us.
Make no mistake, if the people in this park heard the things that she just said to us, they would recognize the danger too. We can't beyond that. There's little more that we can do. I kind of turn to the others with pleading eyes, because I think this might take a turn here.
Ficus doesn't know what you guys were talking about because he was over feeding squirrels. So he goes up to the lady and is like, "Oh, are you a friend of ours? Would you like to feed my squirrel?" And he hands her a piece of stale bread and brings Tomas out of his shirt to sniff her and potentially receive bread.
Um, everything's goes fine. Oh, she's like, oh yes, yes, of course. And then when she goes to feed Tomas, Tomas runs back up your sleeve, scared.
Oh, he's a little shy. But it was nice to meet you. What was your name?
Oh, I'm the librarian, Remley, for the Masons Guild.
Oh, great. Um, is the guild library open to the public or only for Masons?
Only for Masons, though. I'm sorry, uh, we don't allow packs. I mean, your kind.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Ficus puts on a very I mean, he is expected, but he puts on a really sad face. See if that garners any sympathy from her.
What?
I
What
just
would?
want to clarify, does she mean like halflings are not allowed in the library, or is she just referring to the squirrel?
No, halflings are not allowed to be members.
Oh, okay.
No. Um, so yeah, you. Why don't you give me a charisma check?
Okay. I'm gonna try and convince her that a supervised day pass would be a good idea. For heroes like us. You said was charisma? Oh, I'm not very charismatic. I'm a stinky little halfling. Oh,
That's okay. Well, you are under the observation of Idamir. I guess having you at the Masons Guild wouldn't be too much of a problem. What would you even want access to the library for?
oh, I've never been in a library before. It sounds amazing. I have a special interest, uh, in architecture, ancient architecture.
Um, so yeah, she begins pulling in her kite, looking around. She goes, "All right then, follow me."
Oh, right now? Okay. Let me ask my friends if they're okay with going right now. You guys want to go see a library? And
Uh,
in a
I,
whisper, with this scary lady.
I was going to. I had a plan that I was going to enact, but you go ahead, and I'll catch up with you later.
Yeah, I definitely do not trust her, and I definitely do not think you should go alone.
Oh, you should by all means go alone. You'll be perfectly safe. She's a mason after all.
Uh, Merritt is curious to follow.
I'll ask her if we can meet back up with her in 5 minutes. My friends have to do a little shopping. We'll like hustle out of the park and chat, and then find her again.
Just meet me in the Masons Guild before too long.
Okay, bye.
So I after she leaves, I turn to Ficus and I ask, so is that normal for Tomas?
No, this woman is very untrustworthy.
So what's your angle going in here?
I mean, to learn more about this organization. If we don't, I have a feeling that if we don't engage with her on this, that she might find someone else who will.
We are working like with the lady, like the Grand Master of the Masons Guild, and we kind of overheard a conversation they were having the other day where it seemed like she was trying to convince the Grand Mason lady to like get on board with this. So if you wanted to put a stop to it, like that would probably be an angle you could go about it, is like tattling, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Or we try and you know, supervise her experiments and then tattle.
Or diffuse the situation entirely by gathering more information on what's happening over there, and
Yeah.
then bring that back to Idamir.
I also thought if they have a library, there might be some information about like historical information that would be useful for us for learning about this horned king, or like, the history of the area.
Oh, on that
I'd
note,
like
you
to
did
find out
give.
more about the family.
Well, remember that book you gave the cartographer?
Oh yeah.
It's been a few days. So, I mean, there is that resource.
Oh, hey. Um,
Well, I'm curious, where is the ring of invisibility?
currently in the hall, which most of it has been brought to us here in the city, so we
You
have
have
access.
access. Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody was wearing it. Are they?
Usually I wear it, but I did not last session, so it's still in the total hall.
Yeah, I think the
Well,
last time I played Ficus wore it, but I just assume it goes back.
Oh yeah, no. Anytime that it's end of day, we all just kind of put stuff back in, and like we re-equip on the day of.
Yeah.
well,
So
so I guess who is our best stealth party member at this time?
That'd be Guilford.
I'm a third level rogue,
yeah.
thief, whatever.
I think we should use this as I mean, if we're gathering information and we're learning more, I think this is how we should play it 100%. We should be poking around where they don't want us to look. And Guilford, I think you're the man for that job.
Yeah.
In the Masons Guild?
Yeah, damn right.
Okay. Will do.
What was Guilford's other plan as well?
I was going to look for this necromancer that I promised I'd find, or had already found, by attempting to impersonate one of their cult and let it be known that I'm looking for other to make contact.
Is this like we're looking for a mole, basically? A necro
Pretty much.
mole?
A necromole.
or spy or what have you.
Yeah.
Well, so do we want to pursue both fronts then, and have somebody else carry the invisibility ring?
I have a question about Guilford's plan. So
Go
would
ahead.
you like make up another identity?
I mean, I
Guys?
wasn't gonna go quite that
No.
far.
Guilford is Guilford, that's for sure. But he has such energy and charisma that it's hard for most people to just like dismiss.
Yeah, but I mean, like he's known as a anti-necromancy heroic figure now.
I was gonna wear a disguise.
Ah, okay.
So kind of. I wasn't gonna create a full new identity, but I was gonna wear a disguise.
Yeah.
Well, if there are no objections, may I use the invisibility ring?
Go for it.
Yeah.
All right, then I will join you incognito.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, that'll be useful. Okay. So Abacus, I'm going to, I guess, put on makeup, dress myself up a bit. I mean, Guilford, for all of his grandiosity, looks like a very normal, unremarkable person. And so I'm going to put on a disguise that basically just involves looking less normal and less unremarkable. A little bit of makeup, lots of eyeliner, pale up my face so I don't look like a random commoner that's been out in the sun all the time, and actually comb my hair, maybe dye it. And once I've got that, I'm going to wear a cloak that has the cult's insignia on it, which I will draw on with some sort of paint. And I'm going to go to the seedier district and do cult-like things like try and recruit people based on the religious knowledge I have of this cult about gaining eternal life and becoming one and leaving your horrible, terrible life behind so that you can become something better.
And so when you say the sketchier part of town, you're talking about the back wall, where that's where the Brightmore family are.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I might get two birds with one stone that way. So yes, there.
Okay, so you're posing as a cult member in the back wall while Svardfisk and Ficus are heading to the Masons Guild. Svardfisk is wearing the Ring of Invisibility.
Nice.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. We'll do the.
Was there anybody else that was going to join us to the Masons Guild?
Merritt was wanting to head to the Masons Guild.
If any of the remainder, I guess there's only one person left, wanted to watch my back. Oh wait, there should be two, right?
Yeah.
Because we got three going to the Masons Guild. Or do we have four?
3. It sounds like a 3.
So did the other two want to not join me as in like sit next to me, but kind of keep an eye on me?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking I'd like follow behind at a hopefully inconspicuous distance. Not to you, but like to other people.
Right.
And Therum?
Oh, I'm heading to the guild.
Okay. So, 4 are heading to the Masons Guild. Okay. We will do the Masons Guild first then, and then we'll go to the back wall segment. So, Remley, you know, is waiting at this bench, and yeah, upon seeing you, she's like, "There are no classes in right now, so yes, we can use the library." She opens this door, and yeah, these shelves are full of scrolls. Now, some of you have already been in here. Idamir talked to you while in here, but this is like the library, but also classroom area.
Mm. They're like a history and architecture section.
Yes, yes, they do. They aren't the Masons Guild for nothing. Um, so, you know what? There's basic information, and maybe you will be able to discern more advanced information. And in that regard, give me an intelligence roll to suss out
All right.
the
Ficus is
details.
gonna use that little brain of his. I do a good job.
Okay. So it seems like when it comes to the runes around here, so they use there's actually way more runes, and they go like for miles and miles and miles. It was a large, vast empire. There are two groups: the designers, the ones that actually made the runes, and then the settlers, the ones that just kind of squatted in. More is known about the settlers, like their love of antler motifs, and that they were elves is pretty much what's guaranteed for the settlers. At some point, the dwarves are involved around this time where the empire starts to crumble, but the empire still lasts for quite a long while. But then eventually, as the prophecies say, the empire was just so big and so vast that it sunk into the ground. And that's something you've been reminded of constantly as you go into the goblin caves or even go into the caves underneath where the kraken is. The caves connect to these old runes as well. And it seems like structures that were once above ground but now are sunken into these cave systems and also ruptured and split apart.
Hmm.
Um, but yes, the settlers definitely had, and there's like multiple etchings and illustrations depicting altars with huge antlers and stuff like that. And then you see like a series of lords, and they're all wearing an antlered crown. Um, Kailani and Therum, when you went to do that look into the sewers
Yeah.
for the Brightmoor, you remember seeing something very similar motif because you were actually in that mausoleum. Oh wait, Ficus, you were there too. So yes,
Yeah, I was
these
there.
these yeah, you're looking at these illustrations and you've seen them or something like them.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I mean, there's no normal reason for an entire civilization to sink into the earth. Like that, something had to have happened, right? Or like because
Are you
okay,
are
like is this stuff?
Remley like pipes up and goes, "Are you suggesting that something magical occurred? It wasn't natural?"
I mean, I guess parts of a civilization could easily be buried and built on top of, but for it to be so completely sunken seems like it's not natural.
But not all the runes are sunken. This very city of Vassith is also in the ruins. And you've probably seen. I mean, aren't you squatting in some runes that are still
Call it
upstanding?
that. I guess so, yeah. I mean, I don't know. What can I make a check to see like if Ficus like what his if he thinks it through, does it seem natural or not from what he's seen?
It's very ambiguous. There's no real way to know
Yeah.
without more evidence. You just don't. There's just not a lot to go on, and a lot of the information you're reading here is a lot of what the cartographer also told you.
Yeah.
It is obviously organized in a different way. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of mystery surrounding these ruins.
And he'd say that he'd say like, we just can't. There's just not enough information to know for sure. Um, and then let's see, what else would he want to ask her? Like, is there anything known about the religion of these settlers or like their beliefs?
We uh, we aren't sure. Ancient Elvish kind is, for the most part, uh, very unknown to us. However, we do know of one ancient Elvish empire that was responsible to the for most of these ruins. Their descendants, at least, the ones uh, that migrated from here a long, long time ago, uh, known as the Pale Ones. They were elves of white skin and like ivory skin and ivory hair and no pigment in their eyes.
I've seen a squirrel like that once. A white squirrel. Anyone else want to say or do anything? I don't want to monopolize the time.
Yeah, I would like to rifle through the personal quarters and see if I can find anything suspicious about any of these people.
You, well, you're going through here. This looks like some kind of alchemy lab. Um, this is like some kind of dining hall, and you see like some students, acolytes. They're wearing like light blue robes, but they don't have the hoods. And they're just kind of like chilling in here or chilling out here. That's where the students seem to be chilling. But then, yeah, this is some kind of alchemist lab. And then this looks like somebody's office. And then this looks like some kind of study.
Ooh, yeah. Let's. Can I get into that office?
The office?
Yeah. What's going on in that office?
There is. The door is open, actually. And there is a tall, old black woman, probably in her 60s and 70s. She's wearing this big, giant blue robe with the big, giant blue hood. Has salt and pepper, short, curly hair. And has a big old silver necklace with the sigil of the Masons Guild on it. It's like a plate. It's like huge. And she's writing with her quill. Just like all you hear is just the scratching of the paper and the quill.
Oh, what's she writing?
As
Can
you
I
get
uh,
close enough, she like starts. She seems to be writing something in magic. You don't have read magic, so you don't know, but it looks like some kind of magical formula. And as you get near her, she stops writing, puts the quill down, and says, "I know you're there." And she looks right towards you, Svardfisk. "You have some gall. Coming in here, using invisibility, with all of us magic users, you know, it's quite a simple trick to see invisibility, almost as simple as being invisible itself.
Hmm. Um. Uh-oh. Um. Gosh, boy, I really stepped in it over here. Um. God. What are the chances I could put her to sleep?
Well, you could.
Good luck, cousin. Good luck.
Just think about how hilarious it will be when you fail, and do it anyways.
Right. That's kind of how it feels right now. um. Yeah, I'll try and put her to sleep.
Okay. So you try your normal spell, your invisibility drops. Because that's what happens when you cast spells while invisible. So your
Oh,
invisibility
damn,
drops.
right.
Yeah. And then you cast a spell. However, once you start the magic leaves your fingertips and then just kind of sizzles out like Jubilee's mutant powers. So you basically just sparkler, like you harmlessly kind of sparkler.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so you still wasted the spell.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And in yeah, the woman kind of looks down at your hand as it sparkles and then looks back up and goes, "Is that it?"
I have more than that for those who would abuse chaos magic,
What?
I say to her.
What? That is quite the accusation, Limwalker. Coming in here, I assume you're with those heroes of the West March who look like those other two.
And I assume you associate with the one who seeks to seeks to harness the power of the blue orbs.
Oh no, you've been talking to Remley again. Or no, someone's been talking to Remley again. She keeps reaching out to others with her crazy ideas. Just pay her no mind.
I pay her no mind. You have to recognize the obvious danger here. I do. Look at the risk I took.
So you snuck in here to try and neutralize me because you thought I was behind her wild theory that we could.
Came from one of your. It came from one of your masons. What was I supposed to think?
And
And you choose to ignore it?
my masons are allowed their own agency. Now, whereas Remley has promoted these silly ideas, she is completely harmless as long as no one supports her. And besides, she's a really good librarian.
I
Oh,
say I came here to say what I've said. Your acolyte here is dangerous. That you refuse to recognize that um um is a complete dereliction of duty, near as I can tell. Um, I will confess that I was wrong. I thought much worse. but this certainly isn't your best. I will show myself out. And I put on my invisibility ring and walk out.
That's a neat detail. She shakes her head at that and just goes back to writing.
So yeah, I rejoined the group.
Invisibly.
Yes.
I want to ask the librarian like when her when did she first encounter the orbs and like why her background on that.
Oh, I was born here in the city of Vassith. Um, but I would always see them on the countrysides. They would always tell us to stay away. And when I showed promise with magic learning, I, of course, came here to the guild where I really started to study magic. I have been trying to get official sponsorship from Idamir for what seems like over a decade. And yet, she doesn't seem to find the value. She thinks it's too risky, but that there's always a bit of risk involved whenever trying to advance humanity, especially through magic.
Hmm. Well, maybe we can talk to her for you.
Oh, if you could convince Her Excellency Grand Mason Idamir, that would to help us out. We we could make such revolutionary discoveries.
I mean, we could try. Yeah, and maybe, we're new to this city. Maybe you can help us out and tell us about, kind of the different the factions and important people in this city that we might not know about. It's with our group with such a mix of of different kin, it can be hard to get into some places. It seems like there's a layer over all of our social interactions where that's a bit hard to decipher. It wasn't quite like this where we came from.
Oh, well, I mean, I assume your small little camp is on that muddy hill is nothing like this city of Vassith. Um, oh, but anyways, insults aside, what I spend a lot of my time here in the library, so my knowledge on the other factions is quite limited. Um,
But
there's
you grew up here, right? You know
well,
the rumors.
there's the Kingsguard, and they usually keep to themselves, and also the castle. You usually don't see them unless they're escorting a noble around either the church ward or the castle itself. There's the Rangers Guild, which is stationed in the church ward near the castle, but you see them wander around, and at night they collect the chamber pots. But they usually patrol the city, and they also escort nobles in the countryside. There's
Okay.
the Church of Cosgrove, the Bishop uh, Elutrius, and the Grand His Excellency Bishop Elutrius and Her Excellency Grand Mason Idamir hate each other. Though I've never really seen why. The bishop seems like a upstanding guy.
So he's unusually welcoming to elves and halflings. And how long has he been bishop?
Hmm. At least 2 decades.
Okay. And his preaching on the subject doesn't seem to have changed many of the common folks' opinions, but people respect him, right?
They do. They respect him, but I mean, if you're expecting us to welcome every other fairborn here with open arms, given the tensions, I mean, with the elves that could make an explosion happen at any moment, or the the dwarves and their aggression for battle, or their halfling, or the halflings' propensity for mischievousness.
That one I won't deny. But how can you judge elves for their magics when you seek to harness potent magics?
Well, it's different. You understand. We actually have to work hard, and so we are taught the discipline and the responsibility of magic. Whereas the elves, they just are given it.
So they have an innate natural knowledge from birth.
I'm just gonna slide a book off the table.
Oh, dear. That's weird. Let me pick that up.
That's it. I just didn't like what I was hearing.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah.
I mean, truly, you should train uh as if you had, train the years that an elf would have been trained just in childhood for you to be responsible in magic.
Hmm. I don't know. Given the state of the old empires, can we really consider the elves responsible?
I mean, empires fall.
Yes, but you understand that how that these elves, not the pale ones, but the ancestors of the pale ones, we have reason to believe that they had an attachment to necromancy.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell me more.
Well, it is said that they had ways of healing the dead and yeah, extending one's elvish life to millennia rather than just centuries.
Oh. So these are the original creators of all this fantastic architecture, huh?
No, those are the settlers. Nobody knows the designers.
Oh, okay. So if I wanted to learn more about them,
You'd have to go into the ruins.
well, it could be important if we're to convince um the head mason that your research is worthy. We'd have to learn some things about, past magical disasters and mishaps so that we could, plan ahead to prevent that kind of thing with your research.
I like where you are going with this. You are very insightful for a halfling.
It's all thanks to my little friend, and he pats a fuzzy lump on his shirt. Well, this has been insightful, but uh maybe we can chat more about it later. We have to, think about how our approach with your leader if we're going to convince them uh to fund your research. Just try and uh try and keep a little quiet about it. We wouldn't want any like weird rumors to get back to her.
Of course, I don't mention necromancy in most company.
All right, well, good chat. Thanks for letting me check out your library.
She kind of waves you off and starts going over to a pile of scrolls and begins organizing them.
All right, let's regroup unless anyone wants to do anything else in here.
We will get back to you guys here in a minute and switch over to Guilford and Kailani.
Okay.
I'm just following behind.
Oh, before we head out, I'm gonna retrieve the invisibility scroll from our pile for Kailani, just in case.
Gonna try not to use it because I would like to learn the spell.
Yep, for emergencies only.
So while I do have the map of the heavy bender, because that's the only map of the back wall I have, just know that you're kind of in the neighborhood. And as you enter, you are accosted by beggars. Please, give us some money. Anything. Please.
Ah, my dear friend, where you go, you need not money. You see, I have something much better to offer you. Oneness with... What's the god's name again?
Askarov?
Wait, which god you talking about?
The specific guy that... So the necromancers were trying to join their souls with a particular god, correct?
Oh, the antlered king.
It was him? Okay.
Yeah, that's who they said they were working for, yes.
Okay. You see, you can give up on your misery and your selfishness and join in happiness and glory with the antlered king. All you need do is follow me.
Two of the beggars say, the antlered king, that's blasphemous, and one of them spits at your feet.
I mean, good, but also means we have more time to put into this. For anyone that doesn't react aggressively, I will give them money to spread the word.
Okay, why don't you give me 3 charisma checks?
Three of them, huh?
Oh, and give
Oh,
yourself
so
a whatever your charisma score is. Oh, well, I guess it doesn't matter.
One definite succeed and 2 definite fails.
Yeah, I was going to give you like a +2 modifier, but I don't think that would have changed anything. So yeah, you do out of the 3 beggars that you give money to, and I'm just going to drop 3d6 copper here and say you lost 11 copper in this transaction. But one of them seemed serious and sincere that he was going to go spread the word about the antlered king. But the other 2 were like, "No, just give me the money." "Oh yeah, I'll tell everybody about it. Yeah, of course." And then like immediately ran away from you. Kailani, while this exchange is going on, you guys are kind of at an alley corner. You notice 2 of the Rangers Guild soldiers are patrolling, and they're walking down the street as Guilford is doing his thing, and they stop and they take notice. They wait until the beggars begin to leave Guilford, and they start walking towards Guilford. Is now, mind you, Guilford doesn't. Basically, Kailani, you see them before Guilford does. Is there any action you would want to take?
Uh, how far between Guilford and the guards is there?
I'd say at the moment when you notice this, they're like 100 feet away. You're standing. I mean, I assume you're not again standing right next to him. You're
No.
yeah. So
Um,
so they're 100 feet away.
100 feet away from him, and then how far do you think they are from me?
Let me randomize it. 20 feet. You're 20 feet away.
Okay. Uh, I am gonna run up to them and be like, someone just stole my coin purse. And then point in the opposite direction. I'm saying this very frantically, implying that they should go run that way. Just to see what they do.
Okay, so you they stop in their tracks as you bump into them. They both look into each other, look at each other, look back at you. One of them runs back to the direction that you pointed, but then the other turns to you and says, "What did the person look like?"
It was a ridiculously skinny halfling with uh white hair. I don't remember what color hair Ficus has, and I'm not trying to describe Ficus.
Soon there's a bunch of wanted posters.
No.
He has no squirrels on his shoulder. I saw that specifically.
Um, so you're giving the brief description. Give me a charisma check.
Okay.
He goes,
Ooh, nice.
"We'll stay right here. We'll be back." And he goes and he follows his friend.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna make sure my actual coin purse is good and hidden somewhere so that the story seems okay. And how's Guilford looking over there? Is anybody like?
So, Guilford, you kind of notice, like, you just did your thing, you exchanged money, and then you hear Kailani, like, yelling, and then you see the Ranger Guild members just down the street,
Ah.
but Kailani's distracting them, and then they've run in the opposite direction.
Okay, once they're gone, I'm going to approach Kailani, like, not directly, but like as if I'm going to pass by her, and mumble, "We should probably have a signal for the future. Can you make animal sounds?"
Uh, I can certainly give it my best effort.
Which animal
Well,
sound should I expect?
um,
Something.
Do you know? Do you know the ravenous gore beast?
no, but maybe a crow. Would a
Oh,
crow be acceptable?
yeah, yeah. Crow's fine. Crow's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to head to the tavern and wait. I think I've planted all the seeds that I can plant. And if I'm right, then the guy we're after should come find me.
Okay, I have to wait for the guards because I just lied about a purse snatching. So,
I mean, do you? They're not going to find the purse snatcher.
they said they were gonna come back. I don't want to be sketchy.
Okay. I will head to the tavern.
Wait, so you're going into the heavy bender?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be the shadowy guy in the corner.
Are you taking off your are you transitioning your disguise, or are you just
Nope,
still
nope.
oh,
Definitely staying disguised.
still as a necromancer? Okay. Well, yeah, you
I'm
walk in.
not gonna go in there.
Yeah, you walk in and you get a lot of hard looks. Um, are you gonna? You gotta. It looks like you gotta walk over to the table to order.
Yep.
So yeah, there's like a lot of whisperings around. It's like, wait, is some kind of sorcerer or something? I don't know, some kind of witch.
I just make sure the insignia on my cloak is visible, and yeah, I'll play up the whole dark sorcerer angle and glower at people. Remember, my face has a bunch of makeup to make me look paler.
Right. Um. Yeah. So Sal, the bartender, who's a big, tall, very very fat guy with eye patch. He's got a tunic with no sleeves, got a anchor on his shoulder tattooed, um, and he's wiping the table. And he looks at you and goes, "What'll it be?"
I will attempt to disguise Guilford's voice. And, give me your strongest.
He gets a smirk and goes, "Sure, buddy, right away." And other people kind of snicker. And he goes to the bottom of the bar, pulls up this just chunky green looking liquid. And he, opaque too.
Ugh.
And he gets like a shot of it and he pours it and he slides it over to you.
How do goblin grenades work exactly?
You light it and it explodes.
Okay. That's not useful in this scenario.
I
Alright.
assume there's some sort of fuse on it.
I will sniff it, nod approvingly, pretend to take a sip, and then pay what he asks. Is how much?
4 copper.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this isn't worth 4 copper. You'd have to give me a bigger glass for 4 copper.
Bigger glass. Have it your way. Pulls out like a whole mug and then just pours it full and goes, 4 copper. Slides you the mug.
4 copper. And I will now give it to him. Take the mug and head back to the corner to brood silently and pretend to drink this slop that I'm pretty sure is just dishwater.
It's foul smelling for sure. Okay, so you are sitting in the bar, chilling. And so, yes, eventually the Rangers Guild does come back to the street corner, Kailani. And they're like, sorry, but they must have gotten away. But if you'd like to make a report at the Rangers Guild, we'd be willing to at least start some kind of investigation.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. I'll just be more careful in the future. It was my fault for not watching my back.
You know, I mean, perhaps you seem like an outsider, uh, given your well, being an elf. Um, just know that this is the back wall. This is the rough part of town. You probably shouldn't be around here. There are definitely better places in the city of Vassith, and also better smelling. Because yes, one thing about the back wall is that's where the sewage canal runs through. Um, so yes, one detail I forgot was in the heavy bender is very smoky from all the incense being burned.
Well, thank you for your time and effort, sir. It's greatly appreciated. I'll keep that in mind.
Well, good day, and then they just kind of go off uh, down a street.
I guess then I would reluctantly go into the heavy bender. Um, yeah.
You go into the heavy bender, and there's like a bunch of like, you know, again sour faces. However, when Sal sees you, he gets a smile and he goes, "Hey, I I thought you'd be back eventually. You
Just
the boss has been expecting you. You want to talk with him? I'm sure I can get him."
nope, just popping in for a quick drink.
He yeah, with his one eye, because his other eye's in an eye patch, but with his one eye, he kind of looks you up and down with a doubtful look, and he goes, "All right, we got ale." And from behind the shelf, he grabs a netted bottle, and he just puts it on the table.
Uh, is the whole thing, is it implied that I should take the bottle or?
Yeah, yeah, take the bottle. It's a like a 20 ouncer of beer, of
Okay,
cheap beer.
I'll pay him the appropriate amount and then just go casually sit at a table alone and not be looking at Guilford, but be like listening and just trying to look casual. Don't be suspicious.
Right. So you do stand out because you're super brightly colored, and this is a very dark and dingy atmosphere, smoky atmosphere, and you're just like this bright, colorful flower in the middle of all of it. Um, yeah. So Guilford and Kailani, give me some listen checks.
Mhm. Let's see.
Yeah, Guilford, you hear stuff like, "You saw those antlers, right? Yeah, I think he's with the necromancers. It's brave of him to be showing up here. You know, I think there's a reward. There's gotta be. I mean, if we caught the guys responsible for Nerton, they'd probably pay us something, wouldn't they?" And then one of them's like, "Yeah, yeah, all you have to do is go right into the Rangers Guild and turn them in." And then, like, a few of them laugh, like, "Oh, yeah, right. Can't do that."
Um, didn't sound like they knew anything, so I'm going to ignore them. But if I can catch Kailani's eye, I will flick a little piece of grime in the direction of the table I heard that from.
Can I pick up on that?
You are picking up that Guilford is signaling to a table over. Yes, he's signaling this table right here.
Okay. Can I pay attention to like, can I listen in to see if I can hear them specifically, or is that, am I just like not from where I'm at?
I'll give you another chance to listen at door. I mean, you're focused on them and stuff. They definitely, you can see that they're gesturing over to Guilford the Grand. And, you know, but you really can't make out what they're saying.
Does a 6 pass for an elf or no? Is that for something else?
So with listen at door, you're looking for a 1 or 2 for success.
Got it. Okay. So I know Guilford's pointing them out, but I cannot hear what they're saying.
Right, and you do know that the party he's pointing out also are pointing him out of the crowd.
What will you do?
I guess I'll uh get up and start walking out, and then I guess just try and listen for what I can, like right as I'm walking past them, but then that's, yeah, I don't got nothing else.
Okay. Yeah, they say what. You do hear one of them say, "Yeah, we'll just catch him when he's walking down the road."
I'm gonna cough, but it's also a caw that I'm like trying to disguise as a cough. And then I'll make my way out.
I'm gonna wait here for probably an hour, all given.
Well,
Then go to the rest.
with that said, it's like around the time Kailani like is leaving and does that caw, like you can actually hear them. They're like, "Well, I know a guy who's got a clean record. He'll be the one who can turn him into the Rangers Guild." Okay, so it's agreed upon. We're gonna get him as he leaves here and he's walking down the road. That's what you hear.
Okay. So let's see. Is there a outhouse around here?
No, people pee and poop in the sewer canal. They just go over the edge.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait for Guilford to leave and then for them to leave, and then I'll follow like back behind them.
So this is a sewer canal here.
Yep. And that water shouldn't
Okay.
be blue. It should be closer to a green.
Looks green on my screen. All right. So eventually I will leave. And then as quickly as possible, I will spot Kailani, but I will run past her, and go around the corner and just start getting out of my disguise.
Okay, give me a dex check.
But I'm a rogue. Will I ever do this?
Nice.
Just barely. So it's the kind of thing where you know, rush past, go around the corner. You're working as fast as you can, but you're kind of fumbling, like a little scared for your life. Especially as down the street you hear the door open from the tavern, because you know it's these big double doors, and then like you hear a series of footsteps kind of fast walking towards your direction. Kailani, you can see them running in your direction. They just walk past you, and they turn the corner, and just as they turn the corner, Guilford, you are completely out of your disguise.
Okay. I will lean against the wall and say, "Hey, you guys, after that guy that ran past here?
The one in the black cloak.
Yeah."
You seen him?
I will point them down the road. He ducked into that building over there.
Thanks. One of them flips you a silver and keeps walking.
Nice. I'm up 6 copper. Okay, well, that was a bust. But there should now be rumors going around that there's a necromantic co-conspirator. So let's go turn him into the Masons Guild.
It's gonna take a little more.
Okay.
You did set the seed. You sow the seeds for sure, but like, you'll need to do more social engineering.
Ready? I suppose I will have to continue this another day.
All right.
Meantime, we should still go to the Masons Guild and figure out what, not Pador, Ficus figured out.
Well, yeah, you guys basically meet back. I assume you guys, even though that you split up, you're like, let's meet back somewhere. And now you guys are all back together.
Sweet. Did oh, what's his character's name? Was Svardfisk the one that was being invisible and got caught?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you tell us at what point do you tell us what happened? Or do you hide it from out of shame?
So, I mean, I assume this is your character asking me if I found anything while I was invisible.
Yes.
All right. Well, I share that I use the invisibility ring to get into the office of the head. What are we calling this person? A head, like Archmason? What's the official title?
Grand Mason.
Master?
Grand Mason.
No.
And I used the office to sneak into the Grand Mason's office, where I chose to reveal myself for a verbal confrontation. That's what happened. That's all your character knows.
Oh, like, are we still cool with the Masons?
Oh yeah, no, we're 100% cool. We just have an understanding of where each other stands, and I share, kind of how the dialogue went. That I, said, hey, you've got somebody that wants to mess with chaos magic and the blue orb, and that's not cool. It's messed up. Oh, but you're choosing to ignore that. That's messed up. You shouldn't be doing that. Somebody should probably be doing something to stop this, and it's one of your Masons, but you're not going to take responsibility, and that's messed up. But all of this is bad, and we don't like it neither. And that's kind of what happened. So the Grand Mason is fully aware of this whole fucked situation with one of her acolytes and has basically chosen to willfully ignore it. But let's get this right. If this small, mousy blonde manages to gain any kind of following, this poses a very real threat. And we can count on the fact that the Masons aren't going to do shit about it.
All right. I think we might owe the Mason a fruit basket or something.
That's usually how it goes when I interact with people for the first time.
My thought was that we could kind of propose like, hey, we're gonna keep an eye on this acolyte, and under the guise that we're helping her legitimize her research, um, but really we're gonna, make sure she doesn't attract the attention of someone more dangerous. And maybe in the process it'll help us find out who the necromancer is.
If you want to let the Grand Mason know, I think that would be fine. I also think it would also be a waste of breath because it wouldn't really change her position.
Okay.
But I'm also kind of salty.
Fair.
Well, we do have a little bit of a lead on who the necromancer might be.
Oh.
Go
Yeah,
on.
there's a cloaked figure that's been seen skulking around the Wall District, trying to recruit people into the cult.
And are we talking about, a real one or a fake one?
I mean, you can turn in a real one or a fake one. They're both worth the same amount of money.
Okay, but don't we want to actually find the necromancer?
Yeah, we'll find lots of necromancers.
But like a really big one with lots of spells.
Well, you work your way up.
We need a necromancy informant.
Well, I'm hoping this guy that was recruiting will help us out. My plan is to get him to inform for us.
I think we need to
Also, do
figure
you have
out.
a good name for a necromancer?
Uh, Skull Boy.
Yeah, Golvoy. I think that's what he said his name was.
Perfect. I mean, who? Okay, like who would have? It's probably someone pretty powerful, like pretty connected in the city. Otherwise, I feel like they'd be exposed already.
Or somebody that's absolutely not connected.
Do
And
we
like
want to
living
check
in the sewers.
cartographer?
Actually, I wanted to jump in there on Guilford's point. Idamir does suspect that somebody from inside Vassith was responsible or conspiring with the Necromancer because the Masons Guild wasn't able to find out about Nurton before it was too late, and basically that's why she basically thinks that someone else in the kingdom sabotaged the Masons Guild's investigations.
There's someone I have a bad vibe about, but I don't want to say anything without evidence. I'm not going to.
Well, if you whisper it to me, I will say things without evidence.
Oh no, this one's between me and Tomas for now.
Hmm.
I
I'm
wasn't
going to
sure
attempt to
when you
bribe
guys.
Tomas with some of that bear claw. I know how to get me my information.
He chitters in your ear meaninglessly, but seems to like you a lot now.
I will nod wisely. Thank you, Tomas. You've been very helpful.
When you guys first talked to the Grand Mason, did she have any like concrete evidence of sabotage?
No.
No.
But she did have the accusation that she thought the Church of Cosgra, the bishop, His Excellency, the Bishop Elutrius, was behind it.
Wasn't
But
he accusing her too?
Yeah. No, and as Remley, the librarian, has described it, they both of them really don't like each other.
I mean, it's a question of who has something to gain. But I don't feel like we're outsiders. We don't know the players. We don't know who has something to gain from a big power shift like that, or who could be like why does someone get invested in necromancy?
Well, maybe one thing you guys can do, I guess, if you're going to go into detective mode right now, you can look at the factions that you do know and try and determine which family might have reasons to be necromancers or have ties with necromancers.
Guys, we got to make a red string wall in our inn.
Exactly.
we need a murder board.
So the PC's journal not only has all the quests, but it has all the guilds listed. So you can kind of look at that.
Well, I mean, if I was the guildmaster of the Masons Guild, I'd probably be interested in doing it because isn't she like 300 years old or something and gonna die any day now?
That's Guilford talking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fucking hilarious.
Wait, how is she that old? Isn't she a human?
No, that's Guilford exaggerating.
Oh, okay. Ficus doesn't understand the exaggeration. Okay.
Not saying it's not necessarily one of these other people. It's just
Yeah.
she would have a motivation.
Okay, I'm looking. You said the PC's journal would have all the factions?
If you look at banners, there's a bunch of them.
Banners. Okay. So let's maybe like go through each one and see like what we know about them, maybe. I don't really have a whole lot to offer because I haven't been the super consistent player, but
But this is great for every player right now, and I love this discussion.
okay. So I guess let's start at the bottom with the Merchants Guild.
I'm gonna say probably not. This was too destabilizing.
Well, what do we know about them? Who's their leader?
So one of the quests you are offered, kill them all if you have to, is offered by the Merchants Guild. Upon recognizing the gold disc that the Brightmore family paid you, he recognized it, said that a bunch of them got stolen a long time ago, how he doesn't bother prosecuting people who turn them in because he's just happy to have them return home, explains that the Brightmore family is a pox, and then says, I will pay you to kill them. You kill them all if you have to. And that's the name of that quest. That guild master, his name is Jesse Wagler. He is the guild master. He's a guy in his mid 50s, average height, but kind of heavy, with blonde and silver hair and
How
a
do you
beard.
spell his last name?
Waggler is Waggler.
Okay. I'm editing the journal. Is that okay to do?
Yeah, that's what it's there for. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, he definitely he was willing to accept your money for the Brightmore, but then like yeah started going on this tangent about how much he would love to kill the Brightmore family. So that's all you really know about him. Also, they're the bank of the city of Aseth.
Okay. And I mean, we can assume that their motivation is more, better economy, more trade, more gold. They might have other
Right, which
motivation.
blight trees did not help with that.
Yes. I mean, that's their obvious motivation. Of course, it's possible that they could have another motivation or a longer term motivation in which destabilizing the region would help, but we would have no way to know that at this point. Okay. Mason's Guild. All right. So, Grand Mason, what's her name?
Idamir.
How do I spell that?
Idimir.
Grand Mason Idamir. Okay. She hates the bishop. Did she express any sentiment about hating elves and stuff or
Oh yeah, she throws the L word around.
okay. Typical uh location typical racism or above and beyond?
Typical.
Okay.
Yeah, semi-racist. When she sees an elf preparing her food, she just goes, "Hmm."
Wow. Okay. And what are the motives of the guild as a whole and their role in the city?
They build the city, but also they're like a school, and there's discovery and exploration. Basically, like they have the usual university motivations, but also like maintaining the city. But also there's that. Also, we're not a bunch of necromancers. Like that part of their. That's also part of their appeal. They really try and have that balance.
Okay. Image of being against necromancy. So are they hoping to like normalize magic?
Yeah, they would. Well, they also want to control it. Like that's also part of the school is
Yes.
yeah they by any human that shows promise in magic uh, will become observed by the Masons Guild.
Okay. So they want to control access to magic, but they also want magic, at least their brand of magic, to have like a positive image in society.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know anything about personal motives of Edomir beyond the institution's motives?
The one thing that was peculiar is at the day of the court of Stickbeard's knighting ceremony, she volunteered herself to take over the security detail from the King's Guard.
Hmm. That is very strange. Okay.
Did he get shot in the ear?
I mean, that could be nefarious. It could also be that she wants to get closer to this necromancer, and that necromancer is probably going to try and attack Stickbeard in some manner. Okay. Rangers Guild. Who's the leader?
Ah, yes. I mentioned him. Your only interactions with the Rangers Guild leader is he was at the court, but he said nothing. He just stood there. But he was there. He witnessed the
Right.
whole Idamir being like, "Oh no, I'll take over the security detail." I am looking up his
I mean,
name.
if we don't know him, that's fine to for us to just not put anything in there right
Oh,
now. We could go talk to him.
yeah, I guess that's a point. You don't. Yeah, I guess in all reality, you wouldn't know his name. But you did see the leader of the Rangers Guild. He was seen.
Okay.
The only other member of the Rangers Guild you've met who's actually had a name, besides those two soldiers that you met earlier today, and the various other Rangers Guild NPCs, faithless, genderless, ageless
Mhm.
NPCs. There is another one. Yeah, Roderick Redhand Tyrell. He's a big burly man with a red beard, tattoos on his arms. He's got a rough demeanor, wears Apache Gambison. And yeah, he was at the Heavy Bender. The one thing that you've heard constantly about the Rangers Guild is they are bought by the Bright Moors.
Okay. Okay. So Edamir wanted to be Stickbeard security detail. Who actually took over that role?
She basically left you to your own devices and said, "We'll be watching."
Okay. Okay.
So yes, agreed to take over, but then just kind of for all appearances, left you to your own devices.
Okay. All right. Kingsguard. We interacted with them much.
No, not really. Again, the captain of the Kingsguard was seen. He's a big, big guy. Like almost as big as an elf. For a human, he's bigger than Brock Half Giant.
Okay.
And he was wearing full plate mail, and he had a white cape. But yeah, the Kingsguard, captain of the Kingsguard was there.
All right. Don't have information on them yet. All right. The various houses. House Guybraid.
Haven't met them, only heard of them.
No info yet. All right. Dugny.
That's where Nerton was. They've lost their house. Or they've lost
Okay.
their land. They are a house without land.
Endless. Who is their like head person currently?
That would be Maka. She's the Comte d'Or, woman at arms.
Okay.
She does not have a title. Dugny is Sir. What is his name?
How do you spell
Parish Dugny.
I'm just guessing on spellings, but someone should probably go back in and correct after I'm done. Okay, and okay, so what has happened to them since Nerton's been taken over and then liberated again? Like, where are their leaders at? What are they up to that we know of?
So far, all you've heard is the rebuilding of Nerton is going to be a slow and lengthy process, and also House Dugny still needs to mourn for all that they've lost.
Okay. But they're not they don't have a presence in the city.
So
They're
the houses will come to visit the city, but they have no representation in the city. The only banners you see here in the city of any house is the Evensons, because Warren Evenson
okay.
sits on the throne.
All right. I mean, I do think it's significant, maybe, that House Dugny's lands were like such a target, but we don't really know why that was yet. So we'll move on to House Vargas. Do we know anything about them?
Yeah, they're the first house you interacted with. They were going to push you back out into the sea, but then you convinced them to help them out. They were mad that you were messing around with blight trees and leading the undead into Maurice's reach. But you solved that problem. Gave them a gift of jewelry, and then Lady Lita Vargas instructed you to colonize that section that you colonize now.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't know what to write there, so I'm not going to write anything for now. River Cobb.
So that's basically
How's one with the sea?
he's head knight. He is he's the minister of war effectively. His power is only second to the king effectively, but a lot of his authority is on the countryside, not within the city.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
and
you
then
do know they lost a garrison. Anna Rivercobb, sister of Otis Rivercobb, lost lost her garrison and her arm.
Okay, I'm just gonna write took heavy military losses. Okay. And then Evensong, you said that's the king's house?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I think we need to get more information on the Rangers Guild and the King's Guard.
What information are you looking for?
Well, we don't know anything about their leaders, really. We don't know like their main motivations for the faction and for the leaders individually. And we also don't know what they think about this little feud between the Masons Guild and the Bishop, which I'm going to add the church to this list. Okay. Feud this. Okay. I have typed some poorly formatted notes into the PC's journal.
Thank you.
So there's like 2.5 hours. I'd say one more point of interest. You mentioned wanting to know more about one of the factions.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it seems like we have some basic uh like base level information on the Masons Guild and the church and a little bit on the Merchants Guild, but we don't really know much about the Rangers Guild, and that's the law enforcement for the city.
That's right.
So they probably are a big player here.
So heading to the Rangers Guild.
Yep.
I'm open to other ideas too if other people got stuff they want to do. We could also just go back into the sewers. Always a good time.
Yeah.
Merid, do you want to poke around with the invisibility ring this time?
I've I'm good with checking out the Rangers Guild. The ring is superfluous. I can use it or not.
Okay.
So you guys enter the Rangers Guild, and there. Wait, is that really the? Yeah. Wow, I didn't realize I put a piano in there. Okay, seems a
Yeah.
little seems a little extravagant, but okay, fine.
Well, Rangers are multi-talented.
Yeah, yeah.
They confiscated it.
Perfect. Yeah, that's so yeah, there's like downstairs that looks like some kind of dungeon over here, and there are some peeps kind of sitting on a bench and they're like tied to it. Sitting over here. There are rangers just kind of walking in and out of these halls. Um,
The owner of that bed and breakfast made it sound like there was like basically uh a cork board of like, please help me with this somewhere in the Rangers Guild.
yeah, at the very center of the hallway, there's like a whole bunch of posters. Like there's posters here, there's posters here, there's posters here, and it's just like, yeah, please, there are rats in the basement. I'll pay you 10 gold to get rid of them. Do you want to sift through and see if you can find a exciting job?
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys spend some time looking through. Uh, yes, there is. Be on the lookout for, and they don't have the name. It is an anonymous bandit. The depiction is just a illustration of his bust. So just the shoulders up. So not a full body picture, but what you see is a clean shaven face, with long, bushy hair, human. You can't tell color of hair because it's like parchment and ink. Um, but there's a bounty for 3,000 gold of this anonymous bandit. He is linked for high crimes with uh, smuggling, theft, armed robbery, assault, just a lot of like violent crimes and a lot of property crimes.
Well, that's like half a building. Let's go after this guy. We could build a atrium or something. I don't know.
Yeah, where was he last seen?
Last, he has been known to be around the back wall. and the Copper District. Though he's committed crimes in the Church Ward and Merchant Gate.
Known associates.
It actually, that part of it looks ripped off.
Ripped off? Like, can we just go and ask? I mean, it was there at one point.
Yeah. So you grab the poster and like find a Rangers Guild member.
Yep.
He looks it over. Oh yeah, that's been on the wall for a while. We've had some look, but most of them just kind of give up. Been here for better part of a year. Definitely before this whole thing with Nerton came around. But yeah, yeah, that is peculiar. It got ripped off like that. Thing is we don't really keep backups here. We're always making new cases faster than we're solving them.
Well, do you remember any of the names on here, even if you don't know all of them?
He kind of looks around and gives it and like steps in real close and he goes, "Listen, buddy, come on. The guy's with the Brightmore family. Just forget about it."
Oh, yeah. No, we have no interest in harassing them. We will forget about it.
Okay, good. And he kind of gives you a serious look, like, seriously, forget about it.
Yeah, no. That's all you had to say. All right, let's go blow up the Bright Moons.
Oh, we need to ask about the head of the Rangers Guild.
Right. Let me get that out here. Yes. Captain Robern. So, thing that you've kind of picked up on the Rangers Guild is all of them are without without family names. Basically, they're either orphans or otherwise like or just people that just have never had family names, that kind of thing. The low class is what makes up most of the Rangers Guild. And yeah, Captain Robern is without a last name, so you assume that he is also some kind of orphan. Robern is not here. He is at the castle.
Okay. I want to let's just ask some random cop why he thinks the mason the head mason and the bishop seem to hate each other so much.
Oh, that's simple. I mean, they're both. If you think about it, right? They're both kind of like cults in a way. I mean, and he's like, I hate to talk about Church of Cosgrove. I'm as religious as the next guy. Yeah, Cosgrove. Yeah. And he does like a fake gesture of Cosgrove's shield, like a real loose one. He goes, yeah, I'm all about that, but it's all kind of weird, right? How they all congregate like that. And, the Masons pretty much do the same thing. I just think that, it's two cults. It's just one worships magic, the other, they worship Cosgrove. That's all.
Okay, all right. Well, what else can we learn here?
Yeah, does anybody else want to do something here at the Rangers Guild?
Nope. They told us to take out the Brightmoors, and I think that's what we should do.
Okay. Well, if
Just an entire crime family.
I guess if nothing else, I will return you guys to the Soldier's Salvation. Unless there was any, I guess, yeah. You know what? We have time for one more point of interest. One more. Anybody?
The
Yeah, I'm
cartographer.
down.
Ha ha ha! Good call, Kailani. Yes. So you go back towards the Soldier's Salvation, just around the corner from it, back to the market square to talk with Gideon Goldfinger, the halfling. He's got.
All right.
Let me get his description here. Yes, he's got golden hair, a perpetual grin. His clothes are just various colors, very similar to the tailor. And yeah, he has some jewelry and stuff. And he also wears shoes, which is peculiar for a halfling.
Gideon!
Oh, so glad you stopped by. I've made so many advancements of that tome you gave me the last time you were here.
Oh, do share, do share.
Well, the tome, as suspected, is actually from the settlers. And he kind of looks around. He closes the curtains of the store. He switches the open sign to a closed sign. Bolts the door. He says, and he kind of like looks around, and he's like whispering. He's like, "Right this way." At this moment, Therum, you like see kind of all the shadowy figures, kind of, but of all you in the store. But when Gideon kind of like waves you over to his desk, for a second, a figure with an orange chaperon, orange fine tunic with a puffy collar, and he's got orange puffy pants with long leather boots, and with he's got the goatee and eyes that glow like fire. And for a second, you see him just kind of following you with the group, but then when you look directly at him, he's gone.
Here I'm seeing more visions like I did before. What's going on here? What do you have? What are you mixed up with, Gideon?
Yeah, this stuff's pretty scary. Hey, but I guess I'll share it with you. It would seem this, for the most part, chronicles the fall of the settlers.
The fall of the settlers.
Yes, apparently a great disease had taken over most of the empire and left many dead. And the last king, Atir, went on a voyage through many mountains, many forests, many rivers, and to solve this disease growing. And after asking many of his, fellow magic users and wizards and all the healers that he knew of the ancient world, he eventually found a tome of necromantic power. He came back to the capital of his empire and it was all gone. His subjects, all of them, succumbed to the disease, and it drove him mad. And that's kind of like when you guys, there's this looming shadowy, not really there, but kind of like figuratively there, is an antlered figure overlooking the party.
Spooky.
Is this what's to come? Or what has been?
I think I know who he is. And he fearfully puts up his hands to his head in the shape of the antlers.
Is he here within the city?
No. But he is around here. It's why we stay off the roads at night.
Where does this creature reside?
Probably in one of these old ruins. Somewhere. The last king of the settlers. The antlered king.
Were there any names in the tome?
A tear.
A tear. Just a tear. None else?
He lists off various other lords that are mentioned, like, a Tyr, son of Ahir, grandson of, it's that kind of thing. But really, a Tyr is the character of importance.
Okay. But the name Farron and the name Colrus don't come up in either of those.
Oh, yes. Actually, during the introduction of Atir, Colrus is his vizier.
What's a vizier?
Advisor.
Advisor.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you.
Colrus knows that he's more than he's been leading on.
That Colrus is that wizard that we talked to?
Elf.
Elf. Okay.
Madame Alora Starshine did say that he knew more than he was telling us.
Is he responsible for the necromancy? Or does he know who this horned figure is?
He's made allusions to like an old friend of like something happened to, so I'm assuming it's this guy, and he did know this guy.
What else can you tell us?
That's all I've been able to decipher so far.
Has anyone else come to you looking for information about the settlers, about necromancy?
No, I have to say that you're the first. Though, weeks ago, one of my apprentices was attacked and his maps were stolen.
Oh, is your apprentice okay? Did he recover from the attack?
He did, but now he's quit being a cartographer and decided to do something else.
Is he still in the city?
I think he moved over to Berry Pond.
Ah. So, what's his name in case we need to talk to him?
Okay, so out of character, the incident he's referring to is when the Brightmoors stole the map.
Oh, okay.
And that's how you have a map to the sewers in the first place.
Okay, so then I wouldn't even...
Yeah, so you're being like, oh, what? Who would do that? Oh my gosh.
Terrible. Sounds like the sewers will hold the answers we seek. You know, the sewers, in theory, I mean, they're gonna go underneath, like, the headquarters of every major faction.
So you're going to be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Kind of seems that way.
I call the nunchucks.
Okay.
I told
Just need a wise old rat to advise us.
Yeah.
we have a fat
I-
young squirrel.
I hunger for cowabunga.
Shopping at the tailor shop to get everyone masks.
All right. And I think that is a good spot to stop it. So we'll get you all back into the Soldier Salvation. Again, another non-combat session. Been having a lot of these since we gone into the city. Definitely a different pace.
Doesn't seem like there's a lot of combat inside the city.
It's all in the sewers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, it's these darn soldiers. They just get upset every time we try and start a combat.
Yeah. I mean, you could start a combat in the middle of the city of Essence, but yeah, those darn soldiers will keep getting in the way. But thank you all for playing.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having
thanks for
Thank
running.
you.
And
It's a lot of fun.
appreciate it.
Woo.
And thank you, chat, for watching. If you wanted to keep up on all serious industry streams, the best way to do that is to give this channel a follow. Alternatively, you can follow us on Discord, Facebook, Twitter, where we do all of our stream announcements. There's also the website, shatteredempire.net. Shattered Empire is a post-apocalyptic interstellar synthwave-fueled tabletop RPG. If you go to the website right now, you can get a free copy of the alpha. The alpha has everything you need to make a character, and if you're a crafty enough game master, you might be able to make your own campaign. So check that out. And until next time, this is Abacus Fish, signing off.